Howdy, partners. Are you tired of the same old dusty trails when it comes to growing your business? You want to network, but the thought of another stuffy boardroom makes you want to just ride off into the sunset? Well, cowboy up and listen close. This week, we're roping in the real deal from Tucson, Arizona. We're talking about networkoutdoors.com, where business meets the wild open spaces. Forget those stale conference rooms and get ready for connections that are as genuine as a campfire under a desert sky. And we ain't riding alone. We got the man himself, Cody Peck, joining us. Cody knows a thing or two about building a strong herd, both in business and out in the great wide open. He's going to share how Network Outdoors is changing the game, one outdoor adventure at a time. So saddle up, tune in, and learn how to cowboy up your network. That's networkoutdoors.com and Cody Peck coming at you on this week's episode of Cowboy Up. Welcome back to the Cowboy Up podcast. If you've got a little west in your soul, then you've found the right place. We saddle up each week and talk about everything under the western sky, from dust devils dancing on the desert plains to the grit and grace of the folks who call this rugged land home. So pull up a chair, grab a beverage, and let's dive into the stories and happenings that make the West the one-of-a-kind place it is. Your host today is Russell True, and I'm Stephen Clausen. And we're brought to you by the White Stallion Ranch and Cowboy Spirit Radio Productions. Well, Russell, we're in the middle of the dog days of summer, I think.
You know, I was at the bank today, and they were looking up, and the woman said, "Oh my gosh, it's only going to be 96 today." She said, "I think I'm going to get out a sweater or something." And you know, she was happy about it actually, and somebody else was, "It's still pretty hot." I think it's been a beautiful summer, as summers in Tucson go.
Well, and those same folks never complain in February when they're wearing shorts and short-sleeve shirts when they're watching the snowstorms back east. So I think we've got it pretty good.
Yeah, no, I complain when it's cold, but when it's occasionally cold. But yeah, no, I don't get it.
Yeah, you're not a fan of anything under about 80 degrees, I don't think.
I can go all the way down to 68.
Well, Russell, today we have got, it's a little bit different for us today. We've got a gentleman by the name of Cody Peck, and he has started something, and it's gone more or less nationwide. It's called Network Outdoors. So, Cody, welcome to the podcast. Happy you're here.
Thank you, Stephen and Russell, for having me here. Happy to be here.
Well, we're happy to have you. So, you started this Network Outdoors, and what was your inspiration behind this?
Well, one of the inspirations behind it really was when I had moved states to come out to help take care of my grandfather out here in Arizona, visiting Tucson pretty much my whole life around COVID. And then I was living here full time, being a hunter, shooters, outdoorsman. I was like, how do I start meeting other like-minded individuals in essence? Kind of thought about it for a little bit and then started just reaching out to people through networking, saying, hey, why don't we start getting together and, you know, meeting up, go shooting, go somewhere, go enjoy what we all like to do, talk, meet. And I figured, well, I like doing business with people who like the same activities I do. I'm not a golfer, so I got invited all the time to go golfing. I'm in the financial world. People are like, let's go golf. I'm like, dude, I don't even own a club. Like, I did a foursome once, and if you know Candace Eaton, she's like, oh, I want to take your photo. She's like, yeah, you are not a golfer. You have a baseball swing. I'm like, yeah, Happy Gilmore out here. So that was really part of the inspiration. So I really started pushing that out here in Arizona. And then another person I knew said, hey, you need to chat. You and this other guy up in Michigan, Brandon, need to be talking with each other. And I was like, why? They're like, you're both doing the same thing, just in different parts of the country. So we eventually got together and met, and our first meeting, I was like, oh, this is going to be like an hour-long meeting. We're not going to, who knows how this is going to go. Went about 6 hours. We were like, man, we have a lot in common. And he had started his portion of it up in Michigan about a year before I started doing what I was doing, and kind of looked at each other and said, instead of being Bass Pro Shop and Cabela's, why don't we combine efforts? And so that's where we started having Arizona and Michigan combined in, and then Brandon's brother out in Delaware, Maryland area. And next month I'm down along with a few of our other guys down in Tampa, launching Florida soon. We're going to get up Grand Junction in Colorado. We were talking to another guy up in Montana. So I mean, slowly but surely we're spreading out, and we've gotten calls. I've gotten personal calls from people in Europe saying, when are you guys coming out here? I'm like, we're not even in like 10% of the United States yet. Like, we'll make it there eventually.
So I think Russell knows the answer to this because I watch him do it. How does the whole concept of doing networking outdoors, how is that different than going to a traditional building, a traditional meeting room and networking there?
It's different in the aspect of we pair networking with a certain type of activity. So I've gone to numerous networking events from chambers of commerce to other networking groups, BNI, across the board. A lot of the times you'll be like, here's a networking mixer. Where is it at? It's located at some place that's got a restaurant. It's got a bar. You're going to walk in. Hopefully you meet a bunch of different people, connect with somebody or two. And that's how that goes. For us, the idea is usually when you're walking into that room, either people are doing the activity or they have an open mind that they want to try that activity together. And doing it outdoors, in an outdoors environment, a lot of the time you're going to find people of different skill sets. So you've got people who are coming in, they want to try it for the first time. They're getting mentored and taught by some of our field staff or other people there, like, hey, this is how you shoot, this is how you fish, this is how you do these things if they've never done it before. Then you got other people. We have a gentleman who's 80 years old up in Michigan. We created the senior discount specifically because of him for Network Outdoors. He shows up and just wants to teach and talk to all the kids and everyone else. And when you do that, it gives you an appreciation of like a team bonding experience in essence. So you're not just sitting there saying, I'm going to walk around this room, try to talk to somebody for about 5 seconds, get a card, maybe set up another meeting. Here I am interacting with this person who I got to meet them. I know who they are. I know exactly what they're doing because we start off at the beginning of that for everyone to introduce. And we ask them to give an outdoor story. A lot of times we'll get people, I'm not a hunter, I'm not a fisher. I'm like, no, just give us a story about something you did outdoors. This is what Network Outdoors is all about. Getting outdoors, taking those people, putting them together with those outdoor activities. Yeah, it started by a bunch of people who like to hunt, fish, and shoot guns. Now we're doing day in the life of a cowboy on ranches, and we're doing deep sea fishing trips, and we're doing quarterly hikes and other stuff because it's all part of the great outdoors. And when you get that experience and bonding together, you walk away in a different appreciation for that type of person and who you're willing to do business with.
Yes. Go ahead.
Well, I'm just curious. So, what's the model? Is it a membership, or is it a lot of? Is it website, internet based? What?
So it's a membership organization. Overall private membership, as you can think of it. So our members join. They pay a monthly fee. We have individual and corporate level memberships. We also have along those lines. Your membership covers monthly meetups here in Tucson. We usually have 2 to 3, one up in the Phoenix area. We're working to put some more activities up in the Phoenix area up there. And when you show up for these monthly meetups, there's a variety of things we do. We have teaching classes, such as we had Young from Southwest Survival come in and help teach people how to start a fire, how can you make rope from the environment, to all right, we're going to go trap shooting, skeet shooting, just shooting some pistols. Last night we were doing archery at a local indoor range and archery store. And the structure there is people come in, they get to meet, chat. We have food for everybody. Your activities, food are all included in the cost. And then we have everyone go around, introduce themselves, tell an outdoor story. Then we do the activities, and people usually meet someone that they've never met, and maybe they know another buddy that start introducing each other, and they get to interact with the teachers, interact with everyone else. And a lot of the times, people get to see the failures of the people who didn't do something so great. Like one of our guys, he's an archery hunter. He accidentally shot a ladder, and it's funny because it's like, oh, here's a guy that's supposed to know what he's supposed to be doing, and he accidentally, he messes up, and then you look at someone who's never shot before, and they hit a bullseye at 25 yards, and you're like, okay, well, maybe you should be shooting archery more. And then we have other events that we put on that go into that membership. And those are the big ones that I think the real big bonding experiences happen to those who like it. Like we have a duck camp in October every year. 50 people up there for the weekend.
And where's that?
Michigan. Hansel's Island. We kind of take over up there. One of our members, they own the yacht club up there. And that's all closed down because of wintertime coming in. So perfect time for us to go in there, do duck camp fishing. And one year, we had 3 guys who never even met each other. They go out for the weekend hunting together with a guide on a boat. And at the end of the weekend, they're walking away doing a $5 million deal because it's a different experience. Once you go out there, you do some activities like that with people, go outside for, 10 hours out of the day with somebody, you're going to really get to know who that person is and if you want to do business with them.
So was that deal, that $5 million deal, was that a outdoor-oriented business, or was it just unrelated? Is this just an opportunity to get people of shared interests?
It's about the shared interests. So all 3 of these guys dealt with, one guy needed a building, one guy was a contractor, and one guy dealt with financing. They all has to happen to be on the same boat at the same time, needing all the same stuff, working in the same fields that need it. All right, well, I need this type of building for my business. Well, that's what we specialize in. Oh, well, what type of paperwork loan do you need? Boom. So we're not like BNI in the essence, like we're going to say, oh, you one person per room per chapter. That's not it. It's all about sharing the same interest. And you don't have to be a business owner. We got first responders, veterans, make up a big group of it. Because business is B2B, but business is also B2C.
Right.
So we have a few, like one of the companies called Swamp Stick. They're a corporate member of Network Outdoors. They help sponsor the duck hunt every year. It's a stick that you stick into the ground for waterfowl hunt. So you can rest your shotgun on it. And it's not going into the water because most of the time you're in the water. Things along those lines. They're not going to sell really any of those to a business unless it's a guide. Mm-hmm. But they're going to sell a lot of those to all the guys who want to go to duck camp and everything else that want duck hunting. So it's a perfect opportunity for a corporate membership partnership on that end.
Yeah, and I'm not thinking there's a lot of duck hunting going on in Arizona.
There are ducks.
Yeah, there are many, but they're there.
I've heard of people duck hunting. I've heard it just takes a lot. You have to go from water hole to water hole.
Yeah, no, I've heard people who duck hunted here. I don't even know what the rules are here.
I don't know the rules on duck hunting out here because it's like I only seen maybe 1 or 2 ducks in a year. I'm like, it's not worth my time trying to chase them down.
Well, I mean, I know the shared experience is a big deal because when you come here to White Stallion, just about everybody has the shared experience of being on a horse. And it may be beginning to super advanced, but they all have that same shared experience. And because you're super advanced doesn't mean you're not going to talk to somebody who's a beginner. I think that's a fair statement.
Well, I mean, it is a fair statement, but dude ranches in general, almost everything's a shared experience at some level. You eat roughly at the same time and certainly in the same place. And you're doing shooting and archery and all these same things together. So it's definitely a shared experience.
Yeah, I mean, I read a review the other day from someone who they came here alone. And they said after the first night, it was very difficult to have dinner by themselves because they always had someone say, "No, come join us." Yeah, and that's really a testament to the people that are drawn to dude ranching and things like Network Outdoors because you're all pretty much on the same page.
Yeah, I mean, you go up there to duck camp. My first year up there, you go up there. Here's 50 people. I'm up there with a buddy, mentor of mine, and we know maybe like 2 or 3 of these other people going into this place. We knew everybody by the time it's done because it's a shared experience. You're going to meet people, see different things, get to chat to people, and everyone knows, hey, we're all going to share through the same experiences. We're all going to laugh about someone doing something stupid together, because we've all done it, right? Regardless if you're an advanced person, the start of it or not. It's a great time to do it, and that's what we do. We eat together too, like at the Dude Ranch. Here's a big dinner, or our duck camp. We do a big dinner and cook off, and the sponsors and stuff come and talk, and everyone's in the same room. Everyone's doing it. We delegate duties on cleaning up. Everybody's experiencing the same thing. So I think that's one of the ways why.
Yeah, I don't want to sign up for that.
And on that, we'll.
Thank you, Russell. Thank you, Stephen. And thank you, Cody, for an engaging story about how we might transform that stuffy old stiff networking life. That would be great. I'm looking at and looking forward to learning more about that. Hey, I reminded Cody after I heard the program that he should make sure that his new business has a podcast or a streaming component. Get rid of all those old stuffy brochures and all of that dead tree marketing, because here's something that and here's a little self-promotion, we've discovered. I'm one of the creators of the podcasting movement, and here's what has happened just recently. Surveys have found that audio and video streaming, that's podcasting, that's all of the streaming programs, that's all of the stuff out there in the digital formats, that now more people are engaged with streaming, podcasting, video work than actually do AM, FM radio, and cable combined. It truly has been a transformational change in how people are communicating, how they're being entertained, how they are engaging with one another. And of course, here we are. This is episode 52 of season 5 of the Cowboy Up podcast. We are one of the true pioneers. When Russell said, "Okay, Stan, I'll give that a try," and it's worked incredibly well. And so I would suggest that perhaps what we have done is something you might want to do, just as Cody said. I think you've got the way to help me build my business, Stan. I'll look forward to talking to you after the program. Reach out to me at stan@witradio.net, stan@witradio.net, and we'll have a little conversation. No pressure, no pushing, just questions, answers, and conversation, because we want you to thrive in the rest of 25. And speaking of the rest of 25 and the fact that we have brought season 5 to a conclusion with episode 52, we're going to take perhaps a little break the summer as we gear up for a whole new way of doing the Cowboy Up program, workshops, programs, schools, as well as new and entertaining podcasts. And so we might be into a little bit of popular repeat mode as we go a little bit through the summer, but very shortly we'll be back with season 6 with lots of new ways to help you enjoy the Western tradition and perhaps find a way to have a little bit better life and business as a Cowboy Up entrepreneur, learning how to make a life in business in the Wild West marketing of today. That's coming up, hopefully very soon, and hopefully you'll be back with us. All the best, but now let's hear the rest of Cody and his network outdoors adventure.
Okay, Cody, I've got a two-part question for you. The first part of this question is, how do you balance your business networking with the outdoor aspect of what you've got going on? And the second part of that question is land conservation and the work you folks do with that. So the first part of the question is, how are you balancing the networking with the outdoor aspect?
Stephen, that's a great question. That is a part of Network Outdoors that we have to look at from time to time again, because we can get lost in one direction or the other. For a little bit, we were like, yeah, let's go do all these things. And we're like, what? Well, we built out a bunch of events for hunting. We didn't build out anything for the networking side. Now we got to go swing the other direction. Right now, what we're finding out is we're doing things specifically as activities for the meetups, for networking, specifically making sure we set time aside for that at the activities. And then what we've been adding on the other side, we launched in Michigan, we're getting ready to launch in Arizona, is a online state-run for each state that's purely networking and talking and interviewing the different business owners that are part of Network Outdoors. So we can highlight the different people inside Network Outdoors once a week. People can come ask questions about that business, specifically make that towards networking, specifically make that towards the business operations for people to understand what's going on that side of things. That way we can kind of balance out where we're at, what we're doing on that end of the spectrum.
That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
Because it's nice to do the activities, but at the same time you have to
there's got to be a reason for doing them.
There's got to be a reason for doing them. Now, some of the reasons are family oriented. We do stuff like family days because we believe in everyone. If you got a family, do the things you love with your family.
Which is what we see here. We see we're not second and third generation families.
Oh yeah, I mean fourth. I think maybe even fifth.
Really?
No.
Yeah. So that's what this is all about. Now, Russell is a big land conservationist. I mean, that's one of his driving forces of his life. What do you folks do in that regard, or do you do anything in that regard?
So in that regard, we partner with other organizations that handle a lot of that. We don't believe in reinventing the wheel. If it's already out there, why not partner with that? So we've created a Network Outdoors Foundation. That foundation's a nonprofit that we some of our larger activities and stuff, we take money that's made from that, goes into these events to be spread out for different nonprofits in the state. And then those nonprofits can be dealing with hunting rights, land conservation, helping first responders, veterans, or teaching the youth. Now, when it comes to land conservation aspect and on those sides, one of the groups that we have partnered with has been like Ducks Unlimited, Safari Club International, putting on events, helping donate items for their events to put on that end of it. Then the other thing is we partner with like Vero Earl Ranch here in Sonoyta. We've partnered with them. They're big into making sure natural ranch land, natural environment, and so we've partnered with them to do some hunting on their land. And part of it is that we respect the land. And so each one of us as hunters, and for being part of Network Outdoors, if you're a hunter, we want to make sure that we respect the environment just as much as everything else. And so to help that out, we've helped Brandon and Mike Mitchell up in Michigan have partnered to work with farmers who get I'm going to butcher the name because I always do, deputation tags, which is basically if they destroy your crops or something like that, you can go take these animals. Instead of just having that part go out and say, oh, okay, well, we can go take this animal, do that animal, give the farmers money for it, and then bring out new hunters in a closed-door guided experience on how to hunt. So it protects the ranch. It protects gives the ranch money for that, so they don't have to worry about it as much, and gets new hunters out there. And that is slowly spreading out across the board. But one of the big things is the hunting world, outdoorsman world. There's a lot of taxes and fees that people don't talk about. That your conservation efforts for animals across the world from a worldwide organization is usually made up about 80% from donations from outdoorsmen and taxes and fees that they pay on all their equipment.
I think that's something people don't ever know, is that it's interesting. I mean, some people are anti-hunting, and I get the emotional response. but they often don't know that all this stuff is, hunters in the hunting community. And I'm not really a hunter. I used to, hunt dove and quail around here, but I never was a big hunter. And but I think it's an important thing for people to understand is that hunters support land conservation and environmental protections that are reasonable, and they support it financially whether they want to or not through all these fees, because that's how this stuff gets supported. And then the folks who feel like they want to spend the money, then they do as you said, they're donors. It's to a lot of people just absolutely eye-opening, and I think from their perspective counterintuitive because they don't really think it out.
Yeah, I run into a lot of it about coming from California and being a black sheep in California, a hunter and gun owner from California. I say I'm from California. Most people are like, oh, your politics are this way. And then they're like, wait, you're like the complete opposite. I'm like, yeah, we do exist. We just don't talk about it.
There's only like 6 of us.
Yeah.
Well, but I mean, you look, it's interesting because if you look at the electoral maps, not to make this political, it's just fact, right? Mm-hmm. If you take the country down to blue and red at a precinct level, the blue is less than 10% of the landmass. Mm-hmm. It's some, I forget the number. It's very small. And even California is probably 98% red in landmass, but where all the people live is the blue spot. So people shouldn't assume that about Californians one way or the other, But I bet you take some heat.
Yeah, you learn to take some heat, and I've taken some people spitting on me because they found out I'm a hunter over the years and stuff. And in reality, I've also been called a murderer and things. And I look at people and I say, "What makes you that?" Well, you just kill everything you see. And I go, "Do you understand that that's about maybe 2% of the entire time I'm outdoors? I get to enjoy nature.
If that much.
Yeah, I get to enjoy nature in a way. I have seen things." From golden eagles flying to bald eagles to 2 years ago watching a pack of coyotes chase down a young buck and get the kill from 2 miles out, things like that you'll never see, and you'll have experiences outdoors that you'll never get to do if you're inside. And I think one of the big underlooked values inside the United States is about 18% of all the meat that's hunted in the United States is given away. Mm-hmm. So that means there's a lot of people who, and I was like, I don't know how big that percentage is, but then I started thinking about it. I was like, well, wait, when I hunt, I talk to buddies, I talk to other people, and I get, oh yeah, have you tried dove? Here's some deer meat, or here's this meat, and you start looking at that and it's given out, and you're like, well, that's a big chunk of really free meat that's given out across the United States that really does help, that most people don't even realize is even out there.
So let me ask you, because you've got a pretty wide variety of folks that are joining your network.
Yeah. So
we've sort of lumbered into the controversy around hunting, which is generally, I understand people don't want to do it, but almost anybody who can really think it out should support it, because the alternatives are usually quite negative, especially in a state like Michigan. I mean, Michigan, I forget the number, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, they run over 50 to 100,000 deer a year over there. I mean, with their cars, and who wins there? But do you, I assume that people enter your group with their eyes wide open, and so maybe they're not hunters, but they're not anti-hunting, right? They're just pro-outdoors. They appreciate the impact, positive impact that hunters have.
A lot of people that come in, they have appreciation for the outdoors in some format. And yeah, we talk a lot about hunting. We talk a lot about shooting. That's what I enjoy doing. That's what Brandon enjoys doing. That's what a bunch of us enjoy doing. That's what really got this thing started. But as we started looking at it, there's so much other stuff that you can do in the outdoors. There's the off-roading, the camping aspect, the being with your family, the hiking aspect. My lady's big into hiking. She'll never hunt, but she will go out hiking with me out in the wilderness. And that part of those elements, bringing that into Network Outdoors more and more, of saying it's not just us as hunters, it's everyone who wants to appreciate and support the outdoors. That is what we're about. We did the day in life of a cowboy at Varroa Ranch. Yeah, we had a portion where you could go predator hunt because ranches don't like predators hitting their cattle.
And what are they hunting down there? Coyotes?
Coyotes.
Because they wouldn't have much of a lion problem.
Every once in a while you might have a lion problem. Arizona, you can hunt mountain lions. But usually you're going to be in the much more rural parts. We were much more up at the main spot. And It's springtime, so a lot of calves are being born. So the only things that's really going after that is coyotes at this point. So they don't want the coyotes there. And coyotes, for the most part, across the United States, there's so many of them compared to what the environment could naturally sustain. That hunting them, for the most part, is...
Biggest pack of coyotes I've ever seen in my life. Grown up here, 60 years, was sitting in the cell phone lot at the Tucson International Airport. I saw 12 coyotes in one pack go through that.
In the cell phone parking lot.
I was sitting in the cell phone parking lot, and they came out of that wash over there, and I counted them. I just sat there. I mean, I've never seen a pack bigger than maybe 6, 7, 12 coyotes. They just fanned out. It was like it was the savannah or something. So, yeah, coyotes, they say their numbers are bigger than prior to the wolf removals. I mean,
coyotes are their numbers, because they're scavengers, so they'll eat, pretty much everything. And so with humans, with the amount of trash that we leave around, it's perfect for coyotes. Meat at dumps. We have very popular small animals that people like to keep as pets that are perfect for coyotes to chase down. So it becomes a perfect environment, but also for the coyotes. They're very agile. They can jump, they can run, they can do stuff. So having fences and walls to keep other critters enclosed that aren't that way, that can't scurry around under a bush or something, gives them opportunities to go catch things that you normally wouldn't be able to get in the wild.
Well, my wife we live, as you know, Russell, we live about 5 miles from here.
Right.
And it always surprises my wife when she sees a coyote. I'm like, sweetie, they're everywhere.
No, they're in the center of Tucson. So we need to talk about somebody who likes to hike, somebody who's
we
wants
have
to
different
fish.
hikes.
You've got deep sea fishing event in Mexico, did you say?
So we're working on a deep sea fishing trip out of Mexico for next year, and we're launching Tampa at the end of Florida, and once a quarter that meetup in Tampa we'll be doing deep sea fishing. And that's the nice part about Network Outdoors. You can experience different things. In Michigan, you don't really have a lot of cowboys. But down here, we can run a day in the life of a cowboy, give people experiences on ranches that they can't do. Hopefully with you two, dude ranches too, soon, that you can't do in Michigan. But what can we do in Michigan that you can't do down here? Ice fish.
You can't do. I couldn't do it in Michigan either.
No, I couldn't do it anywhere. But we've got all this variety in Network Outdoors. And how do they join? And what does it cost? And we've got individual memberships and corporate memberships.
Yeah, so we have the individual family membership and we got the corporate membership right now. So the individual/family membership, most people pay monthly, which works out to be $100 a month.
And if you have a family of 4, is it 400?
No.
It's 100.
100.
Okay.
So what is included is those kids that are under the age of 18 at your house.
Got it.
In essence, if they're above 18, sorry.
They can sign up.
They can sign up at that point. But, you and your wife, you got 2 kids, they're included. And so we have monthly meetups. And at these monthly meetups, when you're a member, food's included, equipment's included. Everything we do there is included in that. And you can attend every monthly meetup you want. for that $100 a month. So if you wanted to be down here and you went, okay, I'm going to be in Arizona, I'm going to hit the ones they got 3 in Tucson this month, and they got 1 up in Mesa. You hit all of those.
And so what are they? Tell us those 4.
Yeah, so we have usually a meetup down here on the first Wednesday of the month. Usually it's oriented to be more on the east side of town. So, people don't want to drive an hour.
Right.
Usually they drive
it's
about
an
20
hour
minutes.
From east to west.
About 20 minutes. So usually that's lined up somewhat to the east side.
Sure.
For demographics reason. So we were at Stick Sniper last night. We had about 15, 17 people there. And half of them had shot bows and arrows, half had not. And so we were there. We had 5% discount at the store from the owner. We had food, networking at the beginning, and then they had staff, and they have an indoor range. So if you didn't shoot, they walked you through how to shoot a bow and arrow for the first time. And seeing people getting to experience that is something unique. And so then usually our next one is the third Tuesday of the month. Usually that's going to be more on the west side of Tucson. Again, people don't want to drive too far. A lot of the times we're up in the Marana Shooting Club. Not too far from here, if you don't know it. And we'll do usually we'll do something along those lines up in that area, more towards maybe it might be a little bit towards Orange Grove or Prince, something along those lines. And then our last one is a partnership with the Arizona Sands Club. It's a partnership with their members and stuff called Outdoors Committee with them. And so that one's usually the last Thursday of the month, where that one is usually indoors, kind of central location in Tucson. A lot of the times on those ones, it's a training exercise or someone coming in to speak on certain topics. We've had women come in and talk about what it's like to be a woman, or how to get your daughter, if you're a man, involved in the outdoors. That was one topic. Another topic we've done over there was we brought in Yon, and he walked through, brought in plants and other stuff. These are plants you can find just native to Arizona that you can eat and do things. And then once a quarter, we do a joint act outside of the club activity. So like this month, they're a joint venture with them. We're at Patagonia on July 26th. So you guys, anyone can come down there. They can fish. They can. We have ways of making sure people can camp. I got 2 kayaks, 2 paddle boards, things like that people can use along the lines. And that would be all included for people to come out. They get their food, activities. If we have anything that is needed equipment-wise, we'll have that available for someone who doesn't have the equipment. So if it's something like, I want to learn, I want to go out, I heard Network Outdoors is going to be at the Marana Shooting Club. I never shot before, but I would love to do it. We usually have someone who's trained on staff at the time. They can walk you through what that looks like as long as you're networking in a safe environment. And then we have the corporate membership. So that one starts off at like $5,000 for the year. That one includes multiple people from the company can come, and it also includes guests for that group that can come in for free. If you're not a member, there's usually a charge for you to come in to the events. And so that allows corporate members to bring in people to the meetup that they're like, hey, I want to network with this person, but I want to give them a good experience that they're not going to go anywhere else and get. Mm-hmm. And then we usually get the corporate members in on the podcast. They get to speak. We have a podcast that we do. We give them first opportunities to help and come and sponsorship stuff. We help run team builder exercises, Done Right Services, local HVAC company. They're a corporate member of us. And we're in charge of doing, we work with them, get them discounts and everything to do team builder exercises. This year they're going to be with the Young Southwest Survival, and they're going to be in a group dynamic, learning how to make fires and how to survive in the outdoors as a team building exercise instead of sitting in a hallway and having someone say trust falls or anything like that. And
You remember that?
So how does someone go, and is this online? They can
Yeah, you
do
can
this?
join online at networkoutdoors.com. There is a little spot that says membership, join now. You can go through that way to join, or you can reach out to someone like me, Cody at networkoutdoors.com, or Dominic at networkoutdoors.com. He is a local gentleman I brought on here who helps run sales. He's starting to put our sales team together for Network Outdoors as we're growing. And we can do it in person. People want to know exactly all the benefits, exactly what's going on across the board. That helps out. And then one of the other component for all those is we do large events. So we have like the duck camp in October. We have a sandhill crane hunt, a waterfowl boar hunt in Texas. Arizona, we got the day in the life of a cowboy. So we have these larger events that we put on for our members. We basically run that at cost. Corporate members, they get to bring in guests at the membership price, not the non-membership price. We always have a non-member price if anyone wants to come in and try it. And so that's really where the main setup that we have right now. And then we got the virtual meetups for business owners in Michigan. It's going to launch soon in Arizona for people, which allows even people from Arizona or Texas or Florida, if you can work nationwide, now you can zoom in up into Michigan, meet the different people in Michigan, and start doing business that way. That's one of the reasons why we started adding a online element.
This has been really good, Cody. Thank you for coming in. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, we've gone way over, as we sometimes do. So networkoutdoors.com, or you can talk to Cody directly by going Cody at networkoutdoors.com.
Yep, that's my email. It's very quick and simple. Any other Cody's got, they have a different name for us.
Yeah, exactly. I'm R. True at White Stallion. It's pretty easy.
It is. Thank you for coming in, Cody, very much.
Thank you both for having me. You guys can fight over who wants the shirt or the hat.
Well, thank you.
Thank you very much. You know, Russell, one of the reasons I wanted to have Cody in is when you take the outdoors, fewer and fewer people use the outdoors, and even fewer than that protect the outdoors. And using the outdoors makes you want to protect the outdoors, I find, because you get out there and you realize how spectacular things can be. And I just think one is a natural offshoot of the other. And what he's doing is he's bringing business people together for a shared experience, which is a lot of what we have here at White Stallion. And I think everybody wins in this scenario, and the place where they're doing it, which is not in a stuffy boardroom, but it's out in the open, I think those are the winners. And I think that's how things will move forward. And when you're in the outdoors and you're shooting or you're riding horseback, you're not spending a lot of time on your device. You're actually immersing yourself in the experience, and I think that's a wonderful thing. It really is.
Well, I really can't add to that except just say again, I think once you get into the outdoors, you appreciate it, and that is critical.
Well, that's a wrap, folks, and thank you for being a part of the final episode of Season 5 of the Cowboy Up podcast. And we're going to take a little break for a while and perhaps have some of our better repeat programs, a little summer repeat of some of the very good stuff as we get ready for Season 6, which will be really pick-up sticks with a lot of new ideas and new features and new guests, new programs just for you. So have a good summer, and we'll see you back soon. And we go out with Jim Jones and his guys with, of course, our favorite theme song at the Cowboy Up podcast. Remember, for sure, don't forget the cowboy way.
Storm rolled in from the western sky. 2,000 head of steers took flight. Good night paid those boys to ride, and by damn they would, though some might die. Don't say goodbye to the cowboy way. Tradition lives, and it's here to stay. 100 years and growing strong today. So don't say goodbye to the cowboy way. She's 10 years old on a stout bay horse. 300 years they guide her course from the Spanish quest to the blue and gray, to what we call the cowboy way. Don't say goodbye, don't say goodbye to the cowboy way. To the cowboy way. Tradition lives, and it's here to stay. 100 years and going strong today. So don't say goodbye to the cowboy way. Rawhide and steel, hooves and horns, legacy to the yet unborn. A code that comes from a hard-lived life. The destiny when you're born to ride. Don't say goodbye to the cowboy way. Tradition lives, and it's here to stay. 100 years and going strong today. So don't say goodbye to the cowboy way. Don't say goodbye, don't say goodbye to the cowboy way.